This is the review of the BMW F900XR and the F900R. We're here to look at the unique features of the bike, what we like about them, and who we think these bikes are for. These two bikes has been deployed into the market to focus on the segment that is currently occupied by the Yamaha Tracer as well as the MT-09. These bikes have similar specifications from engine capacity as well as function. And more importantly, their price point in the Singapore market is very close. These are all very value for money buys. We are very happy to have our guest here today, Tim.
Hey,
Hi, welcome Tim.
Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. Tim, maybe you'd like to share with everybody a little bit about what your riding experience have been.
Well, I'm a pretty new rider. I've been riding for about 5 years. I only took it up, recently. I've done a couple of tours. I went out to the Himalayas last year, rode through Spiti Valley, do a little bit of off-road. I've done a couple of levels at the California Superbike School in Australia. But really, my knees have not touched the ground yet, except when I'm kneeling down without the bike. So that's about the level of my experience.
So Tim, let's talk about some of the unique features of this bike.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that really pop out to you when you laid eyes on the bike or when you first hop on?
Well, I think the first thing that popped up to me was even before I got on the bike. I mean, we turned it on and this super bright TFT screen just came alive and there was so much information there. It was almost like watching Netflix, And then when they fit the sat-nav on it, then it looks like, and you can control both the sat-nav and the rider modes and all this stuff from the toggle on the left. It just gave me the feel that, not only this bike is really good for commuting, but if you want to go out on a tour, you're very well equipped. And I hear it has an adaptive headlight, which follows the apex as you turn into it. But I guess in Singapore, you wouldn't really test it very much because our streets are so well lit. Yeah. But if you went up north, in certain places where they don't have so much street lights, like in Thailand or something, then that would be really quite useful.
When you first started an engine with that keyless start, what were you feeling and what was going through your mind?
Well, I mean, it's definitely the BMW German engineering, Teutonic kind of solid feel was there, which made, gave me a lot of confidence. And just, the keyless start, just pressing that button and watching everything come alive was really nice. So I felt quite premium at that point in time, which I don't always feel in my life. I have a 10-year-old WR250R, man. The thing barely starts. I generally don't like large bikes, but it was actually really easy to handle. Even at low speeds, it didn't feel heavy at all. I think the R was, because it's slightly more compact, it felt a little lighter in the turns. The XR is a little slower, I guess would be the way I would to tip in, but it's still a very light bike and still very predictable. The power delivery is very linear from that parallel twin. Brake feel was really good. So on the expressway, as you know, we had a few slightly hairy moments with Sunday drivers coming into, in front of us and all that kind of stuff. But brakes was solid. There was always a lot of feel and there was a lot of bite. So stopping power, I'm not afraid at all. The front suspension though, the front shocks, front forks were a little bit soft for my liking. There was quite a lot of dive.
Yeah, for these two models, the front forks are not adjustable. But Tim, how did you find the rear suspension when you're going to corners?
Oh, it was very stable. And I understand that the one we have here has got the electronic suspension,
yes,
right?
The electronic suspension for the Singapore market comes as an additional add-on for these two models.
I'd say definitely go for that.
Yeah.
Because I heard you can set for just yourself and a pillion, yourself and pillion plus luggage, just at the press of a button.
Yeah, definitely.
There
are different rider profiles that we can set for these bikes.
Worth the money, I would say.
How's your experience with the riding modes?
Well, I really like the way that they are accessed. I mean, there's a mode button right here, right where your thumb would be, and you just press it and it scrolls through the modes, and then you just press the clutch to enter that mode. So for me, I felt it was really easy. I've never had a bike with riding modes before, and I always fear that it's going to be like buried under menus. But in this case, it was very user-friendly. I tried road, which made the power delivery very gentle and was really not intimidating at all. And I can imagine someone who's just gotten their Class 2 license or open license, if it's not in Singapore, would definitely feel this kind of power delivery wouldn't scare them, especially stepping up from a lower cc bike. But Dynamic Pro was nice. We were able to get out of situations. Like we were going up 99 bends, and even when we're going really slow behind a car and there's a bit of space and I'm really at the bottom of the RPM range, I just twist the throttle and it goes.
It just inhales that air, right?
Yeah, I mean, and it doesn't do it with a lot of drama.
Yeah.
Which is really quite nice. I mean, it's a very predictable linear power delivery. And then when we went out onto the expressway, I just pulled the throttle a bit more, and it has a bark to it.
Yeah. So what about the riding posture? Did you between the XR and the R and with other bikes that you have ridden?
Well, I have a dual sport, an old dual sport, and this feels very much similar. Obviously, the dual sport is a narrower version. It's a 250cc single cylinder. So this one is larger, but it's a very similar upright kind of a feel, which gives very good view. You know, I feel like I'm always in control on this bike. With the R, I feel like I'm more wrapping around the bike. Personally, I like that for shorter commutes. Just because it's a little bit more sporty position and it feels a bit more aggressive. You feel a little bit closer to the road. Tipping in is slightly lighter on this bike as well, so it feels a bit faster. Yeah. But I think if I was going longer distance, definitely this guy. I started out on the XR and it felt quite nice. And then when we switched over to the R and we did the 99 bends again, it was noticeable how much quicker this bike was. I think it felt like I needed maybe 20-30% less input on the bars to turn the bike.
Who do you think these bikes are for, Tim?
Well, I think definitely they are great for a new rider, someone who's just gotten his or her open class license or Class 2 in Singapore. Male, female, I think both of them suit, just because the power delivery is so easy. People who commute daily, definitely they can use a bike like this because you've got road modes. And if you want to go weekend rides up north, move it into Dynamic or Dynamic Pro mode and just go. It has that ability as well. So yeah, I think from beginning Class 2 riders to intermediate Class 2 riders for sure. And even I think if you're not really in a rush, you could even go on a long tour on any of these bikes. This to me is a premium bike, although the price is actually quite affordable from what I understand. And then we're sitting in the showroom and we're going off. I thought, oh shit, is this going to be difficult? But the moment I engaged it, solid feel, of the gear lever. The clutch was very predictable, throttle very predictable. And then immediately we went out of the showroom in between other bikes and did a U-turn. Yeah. And no dramas. I was like, oh, really easy. Yeah. Really, really easy, even though the bike is not small in itself.
The XR is going for 35,000 and the R is going for 33,000 on the road here in Singapore. You can also have the option of adding accessories such as the electronic suspension. Just speak to the guys at BMW to find out more. Thanks Tim for joining us here again today. We would like to thank our gear sponsor Regina Specialties for giving us up in this wonderful setup, as well as the guys from BMW Motorrad Singapore for the test bike as well as the information. If you do want to book a test ride, do give them a buzz. If you have enjoyed this video, do like this video or subscribe to our channel or comment down below. We would love to hear what you think. This is Vernon here from Root Machinery, signing off. We are here to look at the unique features of the bike, what we like about them, and who we think these bikes are for. Under the hood.
There's no hood.
Okay.
105 horses between your legs.
Between your legs. Can I say Okay, let's yeah, because that sounds a bit rude, so it's correct.
Yeah, Root Machinery, right?
Yes!